Hey guys, what's going on? This is Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. As you can see, I have a very, very special guest. It is Cirilla, straight from the community team at Plarium, Raid Shadow Legends. Cirilla, welcome to the channel.
Thank you for inviting me, Ash.
You're welcome.
No
That's
problem.
a very warm welcome.
Well, you know what? I heard that, I recently heard an interview a few months ago on Hell Hades channel with you. Great job, by the way, communicating with the player base through us influencers. It's really appreciated you coming on the channel and answering my questions. But you said in that interview that not only are you like the head of the community team for Raid Shadow Legends, but every Plarium game. Is that the case?
Not really every game, but those that our office in our city produces, and there are 16 games that we work with as community managers. Yes, and I am a team lead for the team. There are 7 people in our team. So yeah, we all take care of those games, and I feel bad sometimes that I may be not as involved in those other games, just because like I basically grew up playing Raid, so that's why I still like take such an active part in the life of the community, just because like I really love it.
I want to go right into this. A lot of questions I have about Raid Shadow Legends for you, so just jumping into it, I want to ask like the question that's been on my mind the most, talking about a lot today, from Doom Tower to, you know, everything in between, right, to the next, what's coming next in Raid Shadow Legends. But first, let's start with silver. Specifically, there seems to be, with all the artifact swapping right now that cost silver in Doom Tower, and just all the areas of the game that we kind of need to re-equip our champions for, is there any chance to remove the silver cost from swapping artifacts and or add new mechanisms to farm silver inside the game?
We're considering several options to improve this area of the game, and we are going to have a couple of meetings that they are already scheduled, at which we are going to consider possible like consequences of doing this or that thing, changes or additions to the game that will somehow enhance the sphere of swapping artifacts and doing it at this fee, at the existing fee in the game. But yeah, definitely we are working on that, and there are several concepts that we have already come up with, and I will be able to share them with you, the specifics, a little bit later, I guess. So yeah, we'll start working actively on that after the holidays.
Okay,
which is on the 4th. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So basically, it sounds like you're going to consider potentially the ramifications of removing the cost of swapping artifacts. Whether or not that is... Just, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sorry for interrupting you. It's just that there's a lot of ways in the game to farm silver, and still we know that it's a painful subject, because with the Doom Tower release, it's gotten more difficult for players to swap artifacts as frequently as we would like to. So this has become a more acute problem. So yeah, we definitely can't ignore that, and we will think about the changes there.
Cool. So it sounds like on the roadmap that might be, you know, some sort of a solution there might be coming, you know, after the holidays. So maybe Q1 2021 or so, hopefully.
Can't give you any estimates yet, but yeah, we'll let you know as soon as we have something specific to say.
Okay, sounds good. I want to touch on Doom Tower. So Doom Tower was a widely popular release for you guys. I would call it a huge success. I don't know how you feel about it in the team, but I want to kind of ask you right now, so Doom Tower, difficulty-wise, are you happy with how many players have been able to beat so far normal and or hard difficulty? Will there be any difficulty rebalancing, either making it more or less difficult? Are you guys happy with the, you know, the overall difficulty?
Yeah, so the Doom Tower, I'm not gonna lie, we're really proud of it.
Yeah.
And we had big hopes for it, and especially knowing that it is not the final version, and that we are going to make so many changes there, and to add a lot of things to make it even greater, and that really excites us. But I was going to ask. What's your success with the tower, Ash? Where are you at? And I assume you've already completed it, right?
Yeah, I am a dirty pay to winner in the game. So yes, I have completed Doom Tower. I'm actually completing it in the background right now. I'm farming the Frost Spider. So I have, but that's not saying much. I'm probably in the top, like, you know, whatever, 0.1%. I don't know how many players actually have finished it. So I found it to be, I thought that I don't know what the team thought, but I thought that no one might finish it. I thought that potentially nobody in the world would be able to finish Doom Tower before we even saw how difficult it was, just because that's how it was for Faction Wars when you guys released it. But I guess, I wouldn't say I'm surprised, but you know, a few people in my clan have completed it, and it does seem like there's a number of people worldwide who have. But overall, I found it to be very difficult at the same time, if that makes sense. So I actually think the difficulty is pretty spot on. So that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, so we were devising it as a late game thing, and we already like stressed this. I already did it in one of my previous interviews. But then we released it and actually saw the data, and a lot of F2P players actually completed it. And did it like relatively fast, which surprised us, but we were pleasantly surprised. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe not a lot, but there are some really cool, fabulous, I guess, players that are F2P, and they did
impressive.
it. Yeah. That is impressive. So I was gonna ask you if no, not really, but I'm working on that. I know for sure what I need to work on, and that's a matter of like time and resources, because I am shamefully F2B oriented player right now.
Okay.
I didn't used to be though. So yeah. I was gonna ask you if you faced any like special difficulties in completing the tower, any like especially tricky mobs or bosses that you had to struggle with to defeat them.
Yeah, there were a couple floors that were kind of difficult. I don't remember exactly which one. I think the first one that I ran to was like 94 on hard, I believe, which is like the 3 martyrs or whatever it is. It's kind of, there's a few annoying floors, but for me, I think that, you know, I have all the really important kind of end game, you know, champions. So at the end of the day, I was able to, on my account, and again, this does not speak for the 99% of my subscribers, but I was able to kind of find the champions to get through it, even if it wasn't the fastest time in the world. I was kind of surprised that some people are able to run through this content in a matter of a minute or less. You know, I'm doing the final boss here with 2 champions. Granted, it's Ignatius and Siphi, but you know, it sounds like from your initial answer that you guys are planning on making it more difficult. Am I reading correctly into your first answer?
Yeah, the most intricate thing about this feature is that we have to cater to all the levels of players that we have in the game, and it's really hard. Like, we didn't mean for it to be impossible to complete, but then we launched the tower, and players like hungrily started to complete all the stages, beginning from the heart, obviously, and we witnessed this zealousness, I guess, and this desire to show that they can do it with like various packs of champions, and even complete it with 4 champions instead of 5. I saw a lot of like challenges between content creators trying to complete them with uncommons and like rares, basically picking some really interesting combinations of characters to be the fastest and the like the most what is the word, original in passing those. But difficulty wise, we are seeing this tendency that a lot of players stick to, as far as I can tell, there are 4 main metas for doing the stages and the bosses in the Doom Tower, and the one that I can think, the first one that I can think of is using Seer for defeating waves of mobs, and having Seer is like a game changer right now, because like I don't have her, and I really envy those people that do. So there is Xavia and Alan Reel. The second one is not that valuable as Xavia, but they still in those situations when they can activate like poisons instantaneously. So there is this second meta thing that goes to doing damage based on max HP, and this is where we see Cold Hearts and Septimus, Septimus goes to turn meter reduction, but that is one more meta that players are focused on right now. And also there is not that many of those players that concentrate on this strategy, but some of them are trying to build these unkillable compositions of champions to participate in the Doom Tower. And this is where I guess we face with the problem of hitting the limit of 1000 turns. And I know that this is a very irritating thing for a lot of players, and we don't want it to be that way, but I will shift to that a little bit later. So basically there are these 4 I don't know, let's call metas, and I do hope that players know that what a meta is, because like being a new player, I suppose not everyone knows what this means. So this is basically building a team of the most, what would you call them?
Like the most popular and effective.
Most popular. And everyone has them, and well, not everyone has them, but everyone uses them, especially if they already know this pattern and the skills that are most profitable in this or that case, and they like just take those champions and form teams of them, not even like pondering over their own strategies to participate for like defeating bosses and mobs. So we have these 4 metas, and basically this leads us to realizing that a lot of players that don't have those champions, like again Seer, Xavia, Septimus, I don't think there's a lot of players that don't have Cold Hearts yet, but really feel sorry for you guys.
That's gonna be the top comment, is
not saying this as a community manager.
I guess you're offering to give all my viewers a free Cold Heart. That's very, very kind of you. That's you shouldn't have. We just don't want this whole thing to be narrowed down to just you want more diversity
several
in
champions.
Strategy.
Definitely.
So are you going to nerf or make other champions viable, or something else?
Nerfing is not something that we would consider seriously. I guess we're not. We would not do any damage to ourselves.
Good.
Like the main thing is that our game is not about pain. It's not about grinding these stages for like hours. We want players to regulate their brains over tactics and picking like champions, picking artifacts that would give the most profit in in a certain situation. So it's about solving difficult problems. It's not about suffering and struggling. Well, it is about struggling in some way, but not to a point where like you have to tear your hair out because like you don't know where to get the champions to complete the next stage. Yeah, we want this to be more diverse in the future, and this is why we're going to, I wouldn't say ruin those metas, but balance them out, because balancing is the main thing that we always work on in the game. And we are going to customizing the bosses and making them use their abilities at their best. For example, this game mechanics with Ice Spider that you can use. You have to use the HP burn to kill the spider, but you can also place the block revive on her, and that also works. You can also like defeat the spiderlings to weaken her and defeat her. So there are some options that we give to players to choose from, and this is not like the only way to just keep placing HP burn on her to actually kill her. So we want a similar pattern to work with other bosses as well, and this is where we will be concentrating our resources when developing our roadmap for the Doom Tower. And actually that is not something that is far away from now. We are going to be working on that in the next couple of months. So yes, and like you, it's a good thing that you mentioned nerfing, because it's not actually nerfing. We're not going to weaken like champions to reduce the profit that their skills give with the existing bosses or mobs. We just if we take one side and make it smaller, it means that we will take some other side and enlarge it, like make it bigger. I don't know if there's a word enlarge. But,
well, I think so. You're trying to create more diversity in like these metas that you kind of outlined for us in Doom Tower.
Yeah.
So,
and what we have learned. Sorry for
go ahead.
interrupting you. What we have learned from our previous experience is that it is preferable to give an alternative. If we take something away, we should give something instead of that to balance things out. And this is what we are going to be working on.
Okay, so it sounds to me like you're not going to be individually nerfing these champions, or it doesn't sound like that, but rather maybe their utility against these bosses, perhaps something along those lines.
We're going to adjust the bosses. It's more like that,
okay.
And their kit, maybe placing some limits, to make them, I don't know, like more vital, survivable against the meta teams that have already been built. But the important thing is that we also analyze the data. We collect the data about the players that have been completing the Doom Tower and checking where they seem to struggle and what we need to adjust in that area. So, for example, right now we see that a lot of players have difficulties in completing stages on hard from 50 to 60 and from 60 to 70. Mm-hmm. So this is the field that we need to look at in detail and understand what exactly there is, what is the wall that they face that stops them from moving forward, from proceeding up the ladder. And this is where our game designers will be thinking about how to adjust those stages to make them easier for players, I guess, even though it's not our like ultimate goal to make it easy for a lot of players, because it's still an end game content. It shouldn't be easier. So this is what we also need to understand.
Balance, yeah. So you're trying to basically, at the end of the day, you're trying to allow players unorthodox or new ways, to creative ways to beat these levels without having to have OP champions, and also making it difficult at the same time. Okay, that's cool. Is there any, archetypes that, or I should say, is there any sort of a champion ability, whether it's a max HP champion like Septimus, like Cold Heart, Royal Guard, whatever? Do you think those max HP champions are too powerful in Plarium's eyes, or are you guys happy with those champions? There's more too. There's like Husk and other, random champions out there. There's a few others. Are you guys happy with those champions?
We're happy with all of our champions, I should say, because they are all like our kids. So it's not a really good thing to pick someone over others. But in some aspects, they may be considered OP, but this is where we need to understand that there are a lot of rebalance patches that we are planning, which are going to make other champions stronger. Cool. So we're not going to focus on weakening the existing champions, the champions that a lot of players have come to like. It's that we will be rebalancing others. And I guess this would be your next question, like when the next rebalance patch is planned.
Yeah. I would love to know about like the next balance change. There's some champions that are just like, I don't know, like Tila Gormain, for example, like some legendaries that are just hurting right now. I can't imagine they have any use rates for players who have them. And even like bomb champions, you talk about metas and wanting a new meta. It'd be cool to see bomb as a viable meta in the game as well. I don't think they're, probably very rarely used. Talk about, the next rebalancing and what that might look like, and maybe when it's going to come, if you know it.
Yeah, first, we were planning on launching those small rebalance patches with every single release, but then you know how dynamic our development is, and we really want to like embrace this huge scope of things that we want to release and do it as fast as we can. So we need to prioritize and pick something over other things, even though like it really hurts to do it. It hurts us to do that, and we know that a lot of players are expecting several things that we have been promising for a long time, but we have been postponing because there is something else that we need to put first. But oh my gosh, that was the longest introduction to the topic that I've heard.
Don't worry
but
about it.
So the next rebalance patch is planned not in the nearest future, and here's why. As you may know, we are releasing a new faction early spring, and this is going to be a long-awaited samurai faction.
Cool.
So,
is Saito gonna move over, or is he gonna be undead still?
That's a provocative question.
Okay.
But
all right.
I think he is a spy, and he was sent to like
scout out the area.
Learn. We're going to release those champions, see how players receive them, how we start applying them in the game, and how they change the existing metas. And this is where we will go to our rebalancing champions. But what I can say is that our priority for rebalancing for now is voids. And we know that like the recent situation with the Ixtan and Warlim being one of the champions that we included in the list for the people to summon during the weekend. Mm-hmm. And then we saw this reaction from players and understood how like they didn't want to really pull Warlim from the void shard. Yeah. So this is what we're going to focus on.
Okay.
Yeah, because like void champions should be void champions.
I love that idea because, you know, I love that you made Warlim available through the Battle Pass. By the way, Battle Pass Season 2, is that ever going to come, or is Battle Pass done, do you think, for the time being?
Next question, please.
Next.
No, but...
Should we ever be expecting a Battle Pass Season 2? Ever?
I don't think it's going to be in the same form that we are used to see. But there will be some variations of this specific feature available in the game, and we may not recognize them, not knowing that like this is the original idea and it is connected to Battle Pass. But we just want to interest you in something more enticing, I would say.
Okay. I actually liked Battle Pass Season 1, but I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority there, but we'll see. We're looking forward to see what Season 2 holds for us when we do get it. I wanted to ask you, you talked about, you know, you mentioned in your previous answer about a lot of things that the community wants to see before, you know, whatever, or that we've been working on. And, you know, a couple of those major themes, I'm sure you've answered these questions a million times, but I have to ask, is duplicates in books, right? So you said it was either you or Valkyrie, I forgot, I apologize, but you guys mentioned a few months ago that books is a big issue, or excuse me, duplicates is a big issue. You're very well aware that this is the #1 community kind of request, and that it takes time to kind of make a real robust system that you guys are happy with, but it's on your radar. Is that still basically the answer to that question? And are there any updates in that regard? It would be so cool to be able to do something with my legendary duplicates, or epics for that matter.
Do you have any actually that you are most concerned about? For example, I know that there is a Russian player that has like 5 raisins. Raisins? It's not. It's raisins. Yeah.
It's how us our incorrect Americans pronounce it, at least. But yeah, you know what? I have quite a few duplicates, and I think there's nothing worse. It's not about me really, though. It's because I have a lot of duplicates of a lot of legendary champions, but it's really about, you know, someone like you who's free to play, who does not spend right now in the game, right? If you pull a duplicate legendary, it's gonna be the most infuriating thing in the world, because you don't get that many shots at pulling a legendary, and when you see that legendary gold pop out at the screen at you, you're like, yes, and then you're like, no. And not only is it you have a duplicate, but it's like you feel like, you know, your 1 in 100, your 1 in 200 chance at pulling a legendary is wasted. Mercy system doesn't matter. It's reset, and now you have a duplicate that you're not going to build. So I'm sure you can relate to that. So that's kind of, yeah, I have a lot of duplicates, but even I think the less you spend on the game, and if you play the game totally free to play, the more it hurts to pull a duplicate. Even though the less frequently you're going to pull them by virtue of you not having a lot of them. So yeah, it's I would love, even if it's, I mean, a lot of people are asking, let's just give us a reroll or give us another legendary champion or something like that. Even if it's something like less than that, where you can almost fuse duplicates into a reroll that's not a duplicate or something. I have no idea. There's a million different solutions out there, or potential solutions out there. Is there any that you guys are gravitating towards?
So yes, the answer is we have a couple. I think there's more than 2 concepts of solving this problem. And as I mentioned before, these concepts are really like formidable features. Mm-hmm. And this is our top thing to work to concentrate on for the first half of 2021.
Heck yeah.
And yes, we do hope that that is something that is not going to be put away anymore for a long time.
Okay, great. So I'm looking forward to the new dupe system. Really, I think that people will be absolutely thrilled. You know, before I ask about, actually, I'll ask quickly about kind of books. Ironically, you took away rare books, you know, from Arena and Clan Boss Rewards.
Yes, on your guys' request.
Yeah, and now there seems to be a shortage of rare books in the game. Listen, I'm going to tie this kind of 2 birds, 1 stone question. everybody's asking about this dungeon Doom Tower that's been there forever. This mysterious on the far left of dungeons. Here, I'll play it. I'll show it right now to my viewers. Is there any chance that could be utilized to farm books, maybe, or farm silver, or something that's kind of a scarcity right now in the game? And it's this right here. Boom.
So yes, I see a lot of questions coming from players and saying that we must have first had this idea of implementing the Doom Tower in the place of this specific tower, but this is not the case because from the very start we had a very concrete idea for this very far left tower, and the Doom Tower was supposed to be just in the place it is in right now. So the tower that maybe it is not going to be a tower, who knows,
Okay.
but it will be connected to improving our champions' skills and abilities and broadening the scope of the things that they can do with each other in PvP and PvE locations. I can't say if it is going to be connected to books. I'd say it's more of a no than yes, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Okay.
But this is definitely something that will touch upon improving our champions'
Okay.
skills.
Interesting. So improving their skills, which is great. When you say skills, do you mean like the things that you use tomes for to upgrade, or are you saying in general?
I'm saying just in general, it can be either about characteristics or skills or masteries or
Okay.
like whatever
So it seems to be
words,
like,
nouns are
Okay,
used
so
in
it
this
seems-
area.
yeah. So perhaps it's some sort of a new feature or a new way to upgrade your champions in addition to all
That's
those
correct.
resources that we're talking about. Wow, that's really good news. To me, that's like the most, besides that and the dupe system, are like the most exciting things that you shared so far on this interview, because it sounds like you'll be definitely hitting a few birds with that one stone potentially, if it's a kind of all around way to upgrade your champions.
It's actually interesting that the concept of this game was conceived like years and years ago, and we had that plan for every specific location spot that you can now see on the map when entering the menu of like dungeons and like PvE locations.
Yeah.
And this is like I had this analogy with John Rowling and the Harry Potter series. She didn't write all the books like right one after the other. She had a plan for all of them in the very beginning, and she wrote out the chronology of things in advance, and then she started writing the books. So this is what happened with the game as well. We had this concept, and then we started implementing things, and this is what we keep on doing. And so what I'm driving at. Not driving. What I'm trying to say is that from the very beginning we had a plan for this tower, and it's not something that we rushed into thinking about just because we released the tower in the the Doom Tower in the wrong place or something like that.
Yeah, sure. So you always had kind of the roadmap of where you guys want the game to go. That makes sense. So speaking of that roadmap too, it also included at one time like a Hydra clan boss or a second clan boss type thing. Is there still plans maybe in the coming year to add an additional clan boss to the game? And if so, what are you looking to get out of that new feature that is currently not available? What's kind of missing from the current clan boss that you would want to add an additional one?
Well, the roadmap for the next year is pretty ample and really is impressive. I saw the presentation that was given in a closed circle, I can say for sure that there is a lot of things that we can look forward to already. So yes, the Hydra boss is in the plans, but for now we are I think players would be more interested in what we are doing in the nearest future, and this is like clan wars, like clan tournaments, I guess it's better to call them, and they are planned for the end of winter if everything goes well.
Wow.
So this is where we're going to be enhancing the clan part of the game, because I know that we have been thirsty for more clan activities.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. Anything that you can share about what Clan Wars might look like, or is that all still in development right now?
It is in development, and it's not that I don't want to share any details. It's just that it is really close, and I don't want to spoil the information that will be given in pieces. Like, I just don't want to spill everything in one
100%. I get it. So that makes total sense, but we'll be looking forward to that. That sounds like we'll be getting this new clan war experience into the game, Doom Tower rebalancing to some extent, followed by a new faction with champion rebalancing kind of after in the spring season. It sounds like that's kind of a rough estimate of what's to come. Does that make sense? And whatever that dungeon is sometime later?
Yep. And also I wanted to say that the Void Tower will be repeated in the same, almost in the identical version to the one that we have in the game right now. And in March, I think, if everything goes well, in March we are going to see a different version of the tower. Yes, definitely.
Okay, cool. So a new version of Doom Tower, does that mean like new secret rooms and stuff? Like new types of teams? Is secret rooms going to be the same every season, or does that change? So in other words, like that lizard men that everybody complains about, like on hard, is that going to be, dark elves next season, or is it going to be the same every month?
So the current one resets, and the new one will be almost the same. It will be almost identical to the one that will have ended. And the one after that, I think, is going to be almost the same, but we're going to make some tweaks there. Definitely, we're going to inform our players about the changes that we bring to the game in this area. But as we know that there are a lot of factors that we would want to improve in the Doom Tower to see it in the form that we initially designed it in. We need to bring something fresh to the game. So this is what we are going to be doing starting March, I guess.
Awesome. That's really, really cool. You guys have done a tremendous job, especially lately. It seems like something has changed maybe the last 6 months to a year, even going through COVID, which must be incredibly challenging as a development team and a community team. But it does seem like the tides have changed. There was a lot of kind of, I guess, overall negative community sentiment for, maybe the previous year up until that. And then things have, better rewards, better features, more features, just a lot of good stuff. Was there something that, behind the scenes that also changed, or was it just this stuff was already planned and it just happened to kind of coincide all during a smaller time period?
Well, our team undoubtedly grows bigger and stronger. There are more people on the team, and we continue to learn from our mistakes as well as from our success stories. I guess the most crucial thing is that a lot of the results of our life as a company that produces this fantastic game is that we are like this very large ship that actually moves, like whose movement depends on the movement of the engines that are inside the ship. So when they start like rolling, it takes some time for the results to actually show themselves. So this is what happened here. What we are seeing right now is the consequence of the decisions that were taken a long time ago. So it's like this long shot that we are seeing right now.
Cool.
And
So
that
you
reached
probably-
the yeah.
So you saw these changes coming way before we did, but there was and these are the results of those kind of, adjustments throughout time. It sounds like. That's cool. So I think that I'm pretty much wrapping up my questions for you. Is there, I guess the only two things that I just wanted to kind of get a firm response on, lest my viewers, really let me have it. So in terms of books again, some of the new fusions, they take a lot of legendary books. These are not easy to get. Does that tie into, again, that new Void Tower potentially, or new things that you're adding? Is there any plans on making a way to farm books, I guess, in this game?
That's an interesting question, because I was thinking about this paradox about that we removed the books on players' request, and then it turned out to be kind of a disaster for some of players. So this also leads us to this realization that when developing the game, we have to provide to all possible layers of players levels, I guess. First, it's kind of a conundrum where we have to balance things to be able to satisfy players' needs in terms of books, but not really ruin the existing play balance and the rewards pool that we see in the clan boss system and stuff like that. But we are going to be thinking about more ways to get books, and they are going to include rewards in different activities like tournaments, events, and we will think maybe of some ways to farm them, but it's not going to happen in the nearest future. I mean, the implementation of that.
Okay, so no book solution in the near future. I guess
not in the nearest future.
In the nearest future. Okay, cool. Well, hey, I think that at the end of the day, to end on a positive note again, really excited about the game. It feels like, I don't know how you guys can fit this much, or your programmers can fit this much information in one device, in a mobile phone, or obviously on desktop it's easier. But is there any challenge there, like adding tons and tons more content with the level of the caliber of artwork and stuff? Is there a point where you reach that threshold from a design standpoint that you can't even fit any new Clan Boss 8 in the game eventually in 2030?
This is what my fears were about as well, but I guess there are no limits to perfection, and I really think that our designers are that amazing that they will be able to fit basically anything into this really tiny thing that is constantly now in our hands and is inevitably taking control of our lives. I guess they are that talented that nothing is impossible for them.
Okay, sounds good. Well, hey, Cirilla, thank you so much for being so generous with your time. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you feel like you want to mention before we let you go?
Well, not really. I just wanted to really say thanks to all of our players, and express my fascination at your guys' enthusiasm, because I was closely watching everything concerning the Doom Tower, all the content creators' videos, and reading chats in which players were asking for help and sharing their recommendations on the best ways to fight with bosses or waves of mobs. And when you see this enormous strength and unity of players. It just fills your heart with like this pride that this is something that you took part in, and just this naive realization that we may be all different, but we're still like united by the game, and no matter who we are, where we are, and what we are going through in our lives, there is a place that we can always come to and talk to the people that know our about our tastes, about our passions and stuff like that, and where everything like basically thrives or stays the same in a good way.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I echo those same sentiments. I think that the raid community, for someone who is, I guess an outsider, I started, covering the game a little over a year ago, but came from a different game, and I've been doing, YouTube and mobile games for about 7 years. I can say that this game and this community surprised me, honestly, and it's testament to you guys and the work that you've done, and the content creators, the influencers, and most importantly, as you said, the community members, everybody, who watches these videos, who comments on Reddit, who comments on Facebook. It's one of those love-hate relationships a lot of people have with this game, right? Where we love complaining, and there's never going to be an end to complaints, and I'm sure you know that because, a lot of them rightfully so. There's a lot of things that need to continue to be added to the game to satisfy, the entire player base, not just the top players in the world. But at the same time, it's unique. I've never seen a community as overall positive, and people complain about this game because they love the game and they love the community around it. So thanks again for providing that for everybody, and thanks again for being so generous with your time today right before the holidays. Wishing you and of course the entire team very happy holiday.
Thank you very much, and the same to you. Yeah, happy holidays to you guys, and I just want to wish for the next year to feel not as much of a psychological experiment as this year has felt like, because like it does feel like a psychological experiment on the whole human species.
Yes.
But I guess there are a lot of things that we discovered for ourselves this year that we didn't even think about, like becoming closer to our families and valuing those little stuff, like going to a cafe or taking a stroll in the park. And these are very important things to cherish, I guess, and we shouldn't forget about that. So there are definitely a lot of things that we should take from this year, but I really hope that the next one will be easier in terms of survival.
Indeed. Well, I echo those same sentiments, and hey, thanks again so much for coming on, and we'll hope for a better 2021.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ash.
All right, no problem. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Thanks again to Cirilla for being so generous, and hope you guys enjoyed this interview as much as I did. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.